You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, a Joplin staple celebrates its diamond anniversary. We're going to take you to the establishment that claims it was the city's first Mexican restaurant.
Also, KDOT has some new plans for US 69, how community input is shaping the roads we drive on.
And we've got some patchy fog out there this morning with some thunderstorm chances a little later today. Have a look at everything coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Elise Snow.
I'm Chris Warder. It's just after 7 a.m. on this, what is unfortunately only Thursday.
Yeah.
June the 5th. It is...
Not too bad, but he's lost it, so I'm going to take it away with this fantastic story out of Joplin.
It is actually. Now, I remember going here when I was younger at their location on Rangeline, and I swear to you, and you guys can tell me if I'm wrong, I swear they had a Dalmatian as a mascot. There was somebody in an animal suit. Maybe I'm wrong. I was like 8, okay, so I can't remember.
If you remember that, please let him know.
Let me know.
Validate him. He needs that.
They are celebrating this year.
They certainly are. Well, it's Joplin's first Mexican restaurant marks a milestone this month with its 60th anniversary.
As KOAM's Lonnie Walton reports, customers say it's a place where neighbors become family.
It was history dating back to 1965.
The old truck stop, and they opened there.
David and Cindy Amayo are owners of Kasa Montez in Joplin. David bought the restaurant from his late father-in-law in 1982. He operated the business for several years before wanting to retire. That's when he sold it to a customer.
As long as he kept my employees working, I would let him use the name and the recipes.
David says everything was great until the pandemic. At the time, Kasa Montez closed on 17 and Rangeline. They opened this location on Main Street instead. He says the best part, he took his customers with him.
In about 66, I was about 10 years old. And then when I started driving, going to high school, taking dates.
15 years old when I first started coming here, and I'm 65 now.
Not only that, the food is insane, the locals tell me.
We're known for our soft tacos and our cheese dip. It's just got a different taste.
I like the cheesy enchiladas.
You're not going to find the type of Mexican food that they prepare at your other locations.
David said the restaurant probably would have had setbacks if it was elsewhere, but it's not something they really dealt with in Joplin.
Here, it was like we were welcomed. I mean, it was amazing.
Reporting in Joplin, Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
Well, the owners say the main ingredient to staying in business so long is to keep things the same, just like the recipes.
And really, that is honestly a big part of it, especially our local businesses. They know this.
They certainly
That's
do.
what brings the folks to them is their uniqueness, the way they make things. That's why people keep coming back because they know it's going to be good every single time.
Absolutely. 60 years. Big milestone. Great to see.
Indeed, a very, very big milestone. And we've got a very, very big problem with dense fog this morning. Not wanting to let go just yet. Live look downtown Pittsburgh. You can see that fog. It hasn't gotten much worse in Pittsburgh, which is good, but it has still led to reduced visibility. So taking a look at MoDOT cameras around the metro, you can see a number of them, well, in fact, not just number, all of them showing the fog out there. So you've got to slow down. Low beams, not your high beams, fog lights if you've got them. And of course, be aware also of rapidly changing visibility conditions. Cannot stress that enough. You folks, those who have lived here long enough, you know the terrain changes can lead to rapidly changing fog conditions. But those of you who maybe are new to the area, don't know that very well yet, you got to be aware of that. All right. Showers, again, we talked about these, trying to clip some of our western counties. We'll keep an eye on this activity here. It should continue to fizzle out, but it might be what will ultimately trigger the possibility of some showers this afternoon. Our densest fog, Pittsburgh, Joplin, Carthage, all reporting less than a mile of visibility. Miami, Anderson, Cassville, Mount Vernon, Grove, just over a mile. But you can see, again, 10 is perfect visibility. Nobody is there. So if you're traveling 69, 160, I-49, I-44, US 60, US 69, You get the idea here. Most of our major highways, dense fog, you got to slow down out there this morning. So again, a few isolated to widely scattered showers possible today. I think most of us are dry, but it is at least something that could happen. Otherwise, it won't be until after midnight tonight that we see increasing chances for strong to possibly severe thunderstorms out there for some of us. Then we head into tomorrow night. We get a repeat performance of some strong, potentially severe thunderstorms. Then by Saturday afternoon, another round of at least some strong to low-grade severe thunderstorms possible. We're going to go over all these chances with you here in just a few more minutes. 64 in Joplin, 65 in Pittsburgh, around the area. Pretty decent start to the day, temperature-wise at least. We've got mid-upper 60s for just about everyone. Bentonville, the warmer spot there at 69, and appears as though Fort Scott, the cooler spot, at 63. All of us eventually into the upper 70s, some of our southern counties low 80s, and we'll have that northeast breeze at around 5 to 10 miles an hour. We're going to have, again, a full look at your forecast, break down these storm chances, and what we're looking at heading into the weekend here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, a suspect from a 2023 bar shooting in Pittsburgh takes a plea deal. Jamon Allen entered a plea deal for multiple charges, including voluntary manslaughter and aggravated battery. Crawford County prosecutors originally charged Allen with murder in the first degree following a fatal shooting at Jimmy B's in Pittsburgh. Allen's sentencing is scheduled for August 22nd. The shooting happened in August 2023 at around 1:15 in the morning at Jimmy B's. Responders discovered Justin Krogan of Pittsburgh had been shot outside of the bar and died from his injuries. Authorities believed it stemmed from an argument. Well, the public gets a first look at improvements that will be made to the US 69 corridor in Crawford County, Kansas. The Kansas Department of Transportation is hosting a series of public meetings showing and explaining final concepts for the plan and laying out which ones are already funded. Now, the plan covers an 18-mile stretch of the highway from the Arma area south to the Crawford-Cherokee County line, which includes the bypass around Pittsburgh. Public meetings were held in both Frontenac and Pittsburgh yesterday. KDOT will hold two more public meetings today. One will be at the Homer Cole Center in Pittsburgh from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. and the other will be at Northeast High School in Arma from 4 to 6. Then a virtual open house will be held online on Friday from 11 a.m. until noon. You can find a link to that meeting, a link to the animated simulation of the entire project, and more information at KOAMnewsnow.com. The Carl Junction City Council votes to suspend the mayor during Tuesday night's meeting. The motion to suspend Mayor Mike Moss passed by a vote of 6-2. The motion comes after Councilmember James Shank submitted a report alleging the mayor repeatedly referred to female employees as, quote, Steve's harem, a reference to the city administrator, Steve Lover. Now, in the complaint, Shank says the comments were made before and after Moss was elected. He also says he fears faith in the city could be erred by such slanderous reference. Outside counsel was hired during the meeting to consult about the ethics complaint filed against Moss. The oldest building in the USD 247 school district is over a century old and facing serious maintenance challenges. Yesterday, the Southeast Elementary School in Weir, Kansas hosted a public tour followed by a special meeting to discuss the building's condition and future. Increased water damage has disrupted learning and raised safety concerns, and despite ongoing repairs, major renovations are needed.
You know, some people have a lot of emotion tied to old buildings where they've gone to school, and I got to hear some of those people visiting out front. It was fun to listen to them. Again, it's trying to do what's best for our kids and our community right now to move forward, whatever that looks like.
The board decided to temporarily close the main campus building and move the 3rd and 4th graders to the middle school until further studies can be conducted. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Well, following the recent terror attack that rocked Boulder, Colorado, President Donald Trump said protecting Americans and bolstering national security is a top priority. Fox News' Ted Lindner reports on the latest.
We will not allow people to enter our country who wish to do us harm.
A new proclamation signed by President Donald Trump on Wednesday will ban nationals from a dozen countries from entering the U.S. Those include Afghanistan, the Republic of Congo, Haiti, Iran, and more.
The strength of the restrictions we're applying depends on the severity of the threat posed.
The president is also placing partial travel restrictions on 7 other countries, including Cuba and Venezuela.
The list is subject to revision based on whether material improvements are made, and likewise new countries can be added as threats emerge around the world.
A previous Trump executive order instructed federal officials to document countries with hostile attitudes towards the U.S. They also screen for nations with poor vetting procedures and other concerns.
The large-scale presence of terrorists, failure to cooperate on visa security, inability to verify travelers' identities, inadequate record-keeping of criminal histories, and persistently high rates of illegal visa overstays and other things.
President Trump harkened back to similar travel bans from his first term, in which citizens from predominantly Muslim countries were barred entry. And while it faced challenges, the Supreme Court upheld a version of that ban back in 2018.
They were a key part of preventing major foreign terror attacks on American soil.
This new ban is also expected to face legal pushback. The restrictions are set to go into effect on Monday, June 9th. Ted Lindner, Fox News.
And those are our top news stories this half hour. Coming up next, churches around the globe march together in celebration as a proclamation of their faith. We'll be right back, but first, here's a live look from Galena, Kansas, ahead of Galena Days. Well, this weekend, churches around the globe will come together to celebrate their faith in the March for Jesus. David Pizinger, one of the organizers for our area, is with us this morning to share how you can participate. Good morning to you, David. Thank you for being with us this morning.
Thanks for having me this morning.
Of course. So talk to me about what March for Jesus is and your role in organizing this event for our area.
Well, March for Jesus actually originated back in 1885 with the Joshua 6 chapter of marching around Jericho. They came together in Parliament. There was 343,000 people that changed prostitution from 13 to 16 years of age.
Okay.
And so it came to the United States in the 1980s. It's began to be a march that's worldwide on a weekend called Pentecost weekend when the church was birthed. And so as a result, cities all over the United States and world are actually marching this Saturday at June 7th. And we're going to be at 7th and Joplin Street, and we're going to start the march, and we're going to march around our city and come back up to Main Street and have a celebration of worship, dancing, and a lot of celebration. So.
All right. And what are you hoping that people who attend this event take away from it?
Well, I hope that we can identify that we're one body, that the church isn't divided, that we're, as according to the scripture in John 17, that we're one. And I think the second thing is to show our city that Jesus is Lord. And I think the third thing is to help those who may not recognize the Lord, that we are a people that love them as well.
Okay, wonderful. And talk to me, is this the first year for this specific event? How long have you been doing it, if not?
Well, actually, this is the third year.
Okay.
It actually started 20 years ago, and then there was nothing that happened. And then 3 years ago, I felt like that we needed to get outside the church, into the streets, and unite the body of Christ. And so 3 years ago, we started. We had 1,200 people show up the first year, 900 the second year, and we're hoping to triple that this year.
Fantastic. And of course, you mentioned that it's this Saturday at 9 a.m. Where can people come out and park? And talk to me about all those logistics.
Sure. We've got streets off of Kentucky, Virginia, behind Sherwin-Williams. We've got the Cornell parking. We've got Empire Electric parking. We've got parking attendants. So if they come up 7th Street, they'll find all the parking they need to attend.
Fantastic. And if people want to find out more information about March for Jesus and the event happening on Saturday, where can they do so?
Well, they can go to our event page on Facebook, which is March for Jesus Joplin. They can go to 417-438-2299, or they can go to the main web page, which is the marchforjesus.org, and there's all sorts of videos, history, and they can find out more there.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
Happy to have you. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 7:19 now on this foggy Thursday morning, starting with a look at the fog from downtown Pittsburgh. Again, visibilities have not really decreased, at least not from the camera we have here at 4th and Broadway, but they haven't increased either, so we still have that patchy, dense fog there. KDOT camera just south of Pittsburgh. This is near Kansas Crossing, looking back toward the gas station, the truck stop, the intersection with 171 and 400 up there. You can still see some of that fog. Then to the north of that camera is this one, looking north toward Pittsburgh from East 520th Avenue, still foggy there as well. And MoDOT cameras around the metro still showing that fog also. So heading out toward Duquesne, Dunaweg at 7th and Garden Grove, 7th and Rangeline, 20th Rangeline, 32nd and Rangeline. You can't see, you can't even see the traffic signal down here at 36th Street. So still dense fog, and the fog tracker really confirming that. The densest of the fog has really been the 69 corridor-ish, or at least the counties of the 69 corridor, and points east. But we still have reduced visibilities in other locations as well. Veneta, for example, Iola. And remember, 10 is perfect visibility, and there's not any... no, I lied. I'm sorry. Bentonville's in some kind of weird donut hole on the fog tracker, and they're at good visibility, but all around them is not. And that's the other thing you've got to keep in mind is the rapidly changing visibility conditions that could result. You got to watch out. You got to slow down and be prepared for that. All right, day 1, day 2, day 3. All that business we've covered in the past. This is day 1 today, which is really for us timing-wise. After midnight, an isolated tornado threat just barely clipping us out there in parts of Oklahoma. But we do have the isolated hail risk and the isolated to scattered wind risk, and that's going to be for thunderstorms that are going to be rolling in again after midnight tonight. Between here and there, an isolated shower or two, perhaps a rumble of thunder will be possible. Most of us should be dry, but we will have that possibility. And we get after midnight, here we are at 1 a.m. So here's this thunderstorm complex that we've talked about the last few days, coming in from the west, pushing off to the east-southeast. It's in this area that we have the better chance of seeing strong, potentially severe thunderstorms, but we have those other areas highlighted because outside of that, we could get some strong to low-grade severe thunderstorms as well. Then that complex exits by about 4 a.m. Another round comes in right behind it, more of these showers and thunderstorms that could also be strong to severe. By 9, the severe threat starts to wind down. We've got some scattered showers, a couple of rumbles of thunder into the afternoon. Then we get a few scattered or isolated storms Friday evening, could be on the strong side, and then almost repeating from Friday night into early Saturday morning, another round of strong, possibly severe thunderstorms out there heading into Saturday morning. These are a bit more scattered, but nonetheless, we could still see some strong to severe storms. And then into Saturday afternoon, isolated pop-up storms are possible, but if we do get any, some of those could be strong to low-grade severe as well. All right, quick look at tomorrow's risk levels. We do have that isolated tornado risk, southern half of our area, and we have the isolated hail, and then we've got the isolated to scattered wind risk, so damaging wind gusts, the greater concern with, again, not tomorrow per se, but tomorrow night into Saturday morning. And then as we go into Saturday, as I mentioned, we do have a level 1 out of 5 risk for maybe some isolated strong storms out there as well. Through the rest of the morning, eventually this fog will, burn off and go away. We'll still be dealing with mostly cloudy skies, still a few isolated showers, maybe a rumble of thunder, really not much expected at this point. Mid-60s by 8, low 70s by 1 o'clock this morning. We will be warmer today, which again helps set the stage for our storms over the next few days. Upper 70s, some low 80s, back into the 80s, heading into the weekend. Sunday, maybe a few lingering storms from Saturday, otherwise partly cloudy. Clouds return Monday near 90 by next Wednesday, with a few more storm chances by next Thursday. Let's check your forecast. We are back with more right after this.
Well, if you enjoy cars, coffee, and supporting area organizations, then you may want to make plans to attend the Joplin Cars and Coffee this Saturday. We have Ashley and Josh Negron, organizers of the event, joining us this morning to share how this year's event helps support the Children's Center. Good morning to you both. Thank you so much for being with us. So talk to me about this month's Joplin Cars and Coffee.
Yeah, just going to be a fun time downtown to come hang out, see all the cars that are people have around the Joplin area. It's free. Any car, any make, model can come, just hang out and drink. We've got a coffee truck. Just come, enjoy some fun music and hang out.
Absolutely. So You had one last month, of course. Talk to me about how it's kind of growing. What's the turnout been like, especially as the weather gets warmer too?
Yeah, so we've had several, everyone just keeps getting better and better. And we have so many different cars that people bring and just keeps growing. And we want to just provide a fun time for the Joplin community and connect the car community.
Absolutely. And speaking of connection, this event also benefits the Children's Center. Talk to me a little bit about why you chose that and also your history of volunteering at the center.
So the Children's Center is an organization in Joplin that supports children who have been abused and providing services to help them with their trauma and to walk through all the legal processes that come with that. And so it's just been very near and dear to my heart. Have been helping with the Children's Center Gala, which is their largest fundraiser every year, and have had an opportunity to help with that for the last several years. And we just, we love the Children's Center and what they stand for, and love to be able to help support them through a 50-50 raffle.
Absolutely. And Josh, tell me a little bit about your involvement with this event. What's your favorite part about it? And if you could touch on that 50-50 raffle a little bit more first too.
Yeah, for sure. I love the kids have such a great time. So we have anything from, don't disqualify yourself because you think you may not have the right car. I mean, there's anything from 40s, 50s trucks to supercars to muscle cars, and so seeing the kids light up, getting to sit in the cars, it makes their day, and they love it. And so yeah, our 50-50 raffle will sell 5 tickets for $20 or $5 a piece.
Yes.
And then at the end of the day, we'll pick a winner, and we'll split that with the Children's Center. So
awesome! How fantastic is that? Now this is of course going to be on Saturday, weather permitting, of course.
Correct.
Talk to me a little bit about those details.
Yeah. So we will make a call by Friday evening. Be sure to like us on Facebook under Joplin Cars and Coffee, and we'll put that out there. Hopefully the weather will hold off, and we'll be able to all hang out on Saturday morning. So yes.
Wonderful. Well, thank you guys so much for being with us this morning. Happy to have you. Hope that the weather works out for you.
Yes, us too. Thank you.
We'll stick around. We'll be right back.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:31. I'm Elise Snowy. Authorities are encouraging the community to be cautious and aware as the threat of flooding continues to rise around the area. In Missouri, flooding has washed out some roads. Now, it caused one driver in Racine to become trapped in their car. The Seneca Area Fire District was able to get the driver to dry land safely. Elsewhere in southwest Missouri, some roads are barricaded and impassable. Northeast Oklahoma has already begun to experience some flooding of its own, and communities are preparing for even more. The city of Miami has placed barricades in the areas that most frequently flood, such as at Riverview Park. The Neosho River is still rising, with the National Weather Service expecting it to reach its highest level today. National Weather Service projects flood waters won't begin to recede until Sunday. Authorities are encouraging the community to be cautious and aware as flooding concerns rise across the 4 states. KOAM's Samantha Walker has more on what people in impacted areas need to know.
In Missouri, flooding has washed out entire roadways in some areas. It caused one driver in Racine to become trapped in their car after they drove into rising waters. The Seneca Fire District was able to safely get the driver to dry land. In southwest Missouri, roads have been barricaded off and some side roads are completely impassable. Northeast Oklahoma has already begun to experience some flooding of its own, and communities are preparing for even more.
Right here is Riverview Park here in Miami. It's typically one of the first places to begin flooding, and as you can see behind me, it's already begun to start. Miami officials have already started putting up some roadblocks to make sure that cars and pedestrians don't go into this flooded area. The National Weather Service says over the next few days, we can only expect these levels to get higher and higher.
The city of Miami has already placed barricades in the areas where they most frequently flood. The city's emergency management department reminds there's a $560 fine if you drive around one of those barricades. According to the Grand River Dam Authority, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers has ordered the opening of 8 spillway gates at the Pensacola Dam to account for floodwaters. The Neosho River is still rising, with the National Weather Service expecting it to reach its highest level Friday. Reporting in the 4 states, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
Now, the National Weather Service projects the floodwaters, of course, will not begin to recede in Miami until Sunday. Let's head over to Chris for a quick look at your forecast.
The dense fog that we've got to contend with this morning. You can see from our camera downtown Pittsburgh, and taking a quick glance at the MoDOT cameras around the metro. Here between Duquesne and Dunwoody, keep in mind, when they're zoomed in, it's going to kind of enhance that effect. But you do get the idea as to what this fog is looking like across the area. And we also have, we're going to watch these guys, because this hasn't happened in a while. Which is the frustrating part, though, is it hasn't happened in a while. These little showers out here, these heavier showers, are not showing up on any of the computer data for today. So, in terms of what we look at to determine what it's going to do today, those shouldn't be there, but they are. Now, they're not severe. They're not strong, they're not severe, but we are keeping an eye on those just to see if they survive a little longer and roll into our area. But again, it's kind of that catalyst too for the possibility of some isolated showers later. All right, the 69 corridor counties through Kansas into Oklahoma points to the east are where we have the densest fog out there. And remember, 10 is perfect, but also be cautious. Bentonville's a great example here. Bentonville is in an area where they have pretty good visibility, but all around Bentonville, visibilities are reduced. So remember, low beams, not your high beams, fog lights if you've got them, and just again, watch out for rapidly changing visibility conditions as well. Again, some isolated showers, and we'll see what happens with that activity that's rolling in now through Osage County, see if it holds together or not. Otherwise, most of us should be dry, mostly cloudy. It won't be until after midnight tonight that we start getting the opportunities for some strong to low-grade severe thunderstorms out there. And again, this will be after midnight tonight. Then we have another round late tomorrow night into early Saturday morning, rather. And then again, another round of some low-grade severe storms possible Saturday afternoon. Quick check of temperatures, 64 Joplin, 65 in Pittsburgh. Most of us into the mid to upper 60s. Bentonville getting close to 70 out there is the warm spot right now at 69. Eventually our highs, upper 70s, maybe even some low 80s in our southern counties, mostly cloudy, northeast breeze 5 to 10. As I mentioned, we got all these thunderstorm chances coming up, and some of them could be strong to severe. Details in the full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Lisa?
All right, Chris, thanks. And that's a look at our top news stories this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. But first, here's a live look of Galena, Kansas, ahead of Galena Days. Welcome back. Well, the Bourbon County Community Theater has been hard at work for their production of Beauty and the Bull. We have Mark Bergman and Levi Fairchild with us this morning with an invitation to their performance and to learn more. So talk to me about this production. Good morning to you both. Happy to have you with us.
Good morning. Oh, we're excited to be here. Basically, it's a typical melodrama. It opens with our villain planning to marry our heroine, Opal Openheart. Our villain's Carl Connor. And he's going to get her money, and she'll have an accident, so he gets all of her money.
Oh, interesting.
She gets a letter from her aunt who lives just outside of Fort Scott on a farm and says, you get the farm because you're my only living relative, but you have to wait a year to marry.
Interesting.
So she moves from San Francisco to Fort Scott. And at the very first party she has to meet the neighbors, she meets our hero, Bull Driver.
Which is you, Levi.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
awesome.
And they fall in love.
Oh, very
Carl shows up after about a year, and from there things escalate. There's also a subplot with the farmhand and the maid plotting to get the farm away from Opal.
Very interesting. Now, Mark, this is a melodrama by you. Talk to me a little bit about the inspiration behind this and what the process was creating this.
Well, it was a challenge. We were sitting in a board meeting, and one of our board members said, you should write the melodrama.
Wow.
And I said, I've never done that before. Another one said, no, we want you to do it. And I said, I know nothing about doing that. Well, I was sitting at home one day, and I just laid out a story, and then I started filling in dialogue.
Fascinating.
And
so this is your first?
This is the first time I've done anything like that.
Congratulations.
Probably the last one I'll do.
But that's
well,
impressive nonetheless. Levi, talk to me about playing the quote-unquote good guy in this story and what's it like to take on this role.
So it's definitely been different than what I'm used to. You know, going from playing New Yorkers and other shows to playing this 1850s farmer has definitely been great. It's been an awkward interaction at first with our heroine, but I mean we've learned to be more professional about it as we go along, and we're having a great time, and we're really getting involved in the theater.
Sounds fantastic, exciting. So if folks want to come out and see this production, where can they do so and when?
Okay, it's Friday night at 8 o'clock. We have 5 shows Saturday, 10:30, 12:30.
Okay.
4:30, 6:30, and 8. It's at 123 South National. It's formerly St. Andrew's Episcopal Church.
All right.
It's right on the corner of 2nd and National.
Fantastic. Well, good luck, break a leg, and congratulations on this production to you both. Thank you, Mark and Levi. Happy to have you. We'll, of course, have all those details later on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 7:44 now on this Thursday morning. Again, quick look at the fog. Conditions gradually improving, at least it seems to be, from our camera at 4th and Broadway in Pittsburgh, but we still have fog out there. You can still see it also from the KDOT camera. This one's at 69 by Kansas Crossing looking to the south. This one just a pinch north and looking to the north, and still some fog out there. And MoDOT cameras around the metro area showing the same thing. We still have some of that dense fog out there, and it's going to stick around a little bit longer before it eventually starts to clear on out. Now again, the 69 corridor counties and points to the east are where the densest fog's been most of the morning, but we do have reduced visibilities outside of that area as well. So remember, low beams, not your high beams. Fog lights, if you got them, slow down, and also just be aware for the potential of rapidly changing visibility conditions on your route as well. Now, as we go into the overnight hours tonight, after midnight, we do have the chance for some strong to severe thunderstorms. There's an isolated tornado threat just barely clipping us. And then we have that hail risk out there, and then an isolated to scattered wind risk for damaging winds as well. And this area is a little broader simply because we could get some strong to low grade severe thunderstorms on the top side of the main complex tonight. All right, so here's what we've got through the day. Isolated showers, maybe a rumble of thunder or two. Otherwise, most of us should be dry and mostly cloudy. Once we get past midnight, here comes that thunderstorm complex we've talked about. It starts diving into northeastern Oklahoma, and that's why we have some of those areas with that level 2 out of 5 risk, because this is going to be the area in which the chances are better for seeing strong to potentially severe thunderstorms. So definitely a heads up for northeast Oklahoma. But then those lower risk levels are for these guys, these thunderstorms, as they could be strong to low grade severe as well. Now that first complex dives out of here pretty quickly. By about 3-4 a.m. it's gone from our area, but then behind it another round of strong to low grade severe thunderstorms will be possible as we get our Friday underway. So roughly on Friday between Friday, I'm saying it like it's several days away. Tomorrow, from midnight to 9 a.m. is going to be a window for some strong, potentially severe thunderstorms out there. Then we'll have scattered showers, couple of rumbles of thunder heading into the afternoon, couple of isolated to widely scattered showers and storms by the late evening that could be strong, low-grade severe, and then overnight, once again, Friday into Saturday morning, more showers, more thunderstorms. Now, these ones are a bit more scattered, not as widespread as the complex we're looking at tonight, but those storms that we do see leading into Saturday morning could be strong to severe as well. And then as we go through Saturday afternoon, some pop-up showers and storms will be possible, and some of those could potentially be strong, low-grade severe as well. So this is our risk area for tomorrow, and again, this is going to be let's say after 10 o'clock Friday night into Saturday morning. We have the tornado risk area. It is isolated, but it's there in the southern half of our region. Isolated hail risk, and then the isolated to scattered wind risk out there. And then for Saturday, we go with that level 1 out of 5. So maybe an isolated strong or low grade severe thunderstorm by Saturday afternoon. Fog, again, another just view of it. And again, it's improved a bit on the visibilities, but not greatly yet from 7th and range line. Mid 60s to start our day. Low 70s by 11 o'clock this morning. Eventually our highs today, upper 70s for most of us. Some of our southern counties could get into the low 80s. The 80s will make a return as we grow into tomorrow and through the weekend. And we could get close to 90 degrees by next Wednesday with a few thunderstorm chances on Thursday. Let's check your forecast. We're back with more right after this.
Well, as the summer kicks off, we have to think about sun safety, a growing trend. Has people eating their sun protection this summer?
Yeah, Connor Hansen has more on if it's safe and how much it can protect your skin.
all know it's important to lather on sunscreen before heading outside, but some are suggesting nutrition can play a role in skin protection.
Edible sunscreens are becoming more and more popular, and typically what ingredients these edibles, whether they're gummies or pills, contain antioxidants. And the idea is that these products will actually help protect from the inside out at the cellular level.
Antioxidant-rich foods such as berries, leafy greens, and dark chocolates or dietary supplements containing vitamin E or C can help with skin health, but it's not the main way to avoid harmful UV rays. Popping a pill or gummy sounds simple, but there's no scientific evidence you'll get real UV protection relying solely on your diet or supplements.
They help supplement your topical sunscreens, but they're never going to be a replacement for them. So you also want to make sure that if you're using them, you want to use them in conjunction with or in addition to your regular sunscreen.
Dermatologist Susan Masick says nutrition helps, but sunscreen saves.
It's really important to use daily sunscreen as it can actually decrease your risk of skin cancer by almost 40 to 50%. So if you start at a young age, if you're very consistent with it, it will actually decrease your risk of skin cancer over your lifetime.
Experts say these edible sunscreen supplements are safe for most people and don't need to be taken daily.
I typically have patients use them when they're actually knowing they're going to be out in the sun, where they're going to have known sun exposure.
Still, it's important to protect yourself in the sun, whether it's cream, gel, or spray. Dr. Masick reminds folks of the most effective way to apply sunscreen.
Before you start your day, use it as a daily application. If you know you're going to be headed out for a sunny day or spending time outdoors, you should try to put it on about 15 to 20 minutes ahead of time. Reapply every 2 to 3 hours, because after a period of time, it's just no longer as effective or as protective. We want to make sure you use plenty of sunscreen. Don't be stingy.
If you do get sunburned, Dr. Masick suggests cool compresses, ibuprofen, or aloe, and avoid heat on your skin like a hot shower. And if you start seeing significant blistering or have a high fever, you need to seek medical attention. In New York, Connor Hansen, Fox News.
Definitely interesting. Of course, eating a balanced diet, taking your supplements does help with your skin overall, but still put on that sunscreen.
Don't eat
SPF
the sunscreen.
30 at least. Don't eat it.
I feel like that's slightly Don't eat the sunscreen.
No matter how tasty it looks.
Don't
sour
do it.
cream.
I mean, I get what they're saying in the story, but the way they kind of portrayed it, man, don't do that, okay? What you can eat, though, are the berries and the things like that. That will help, okay?
Not solve it, though.
No, doesn't solve it.
Put the sunscreen on.
Yes, you still have to do it.
Yes, please.
All right, let's take a look at that fog tracker one more time. As you can see, we still have some dense fog out there. Low beams, not your high beams. Of course, slow down. Give yourself time to get where you're going. We do have that severe threat for after midnight tonight with a greater concern for hail and damaging winds, but there is a limited tornado risk down, just barely scraping us here. For today, isolated shower, maybe rumble of thunder. Most of us dry. We're all going to be warmer. And then, as I mentioned, after midnight, here comes that complex of storms with attendant storms north of it that could be strong to low-grade severe with a slightly higher severe risk in the northeast Oklahoma. That complex exits, another one expected right behind it. So by 5 a.m., another round of strong to potentially severe thunderstorms out there. And then that process repeats tomorrow night into early Saturday. We'll have another look at your forecast, news you need to know right after this.
And here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. The public gets a first look at improvements that will be made to the US 69 corridor in Crawford County, Kansas. The plan covers an 18-mile stretch of the highway from the Arma area south to the Crawford-Cherokee County line, which includes the bypass around Pittsburgh. Work is set to begin on the projects from 2026 to 2029. Jamon Allen enters a plea deal for multiple charges, including voluntary manslaughter and aggravated battery for a shooting in 2023. Crawford County prosecutors originally charged Allen with murder in the first degree following a fatal shooting at Jimmy B's in Pittsburgh. Allen's sentencing is scheduled for August 22nd. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
As you head out the door, don't forget about that patchy fog this morning. Otherwise, mostly cloudy, couple isolated showers, maybe a rumble of thunder, and we'll make it into the upper 70s and some low 80s into the southern counties out there. Still mostly cloudy through the evening. Thunderstorms after midnight tonight. Some of those, again, could be strong to severe. They'll wrap up by about 9 a.m. tomorrow, and then we'll have another round of strong, potentially severe storms after 10 o'clock tomorrow night into Saturday morning, and maybe a few more isolated strong storms by Saturday afternoon. Temperatures back into the 80s, pushing near 90 by Wednesday of next week.
Alrighty.
I got a lot to keep an eye on. Of course, we'll be here tomorrow morning if we do have any of those strong to severe thunderstorms pushing through, and we'll have the latest news and weather for you today at noon.
Have a great rest of your morning.